Hi, I'm Jason Barnard. I'm here to talk to you about the 3 pillars of SEO that will make your life vis-a-vis to Google much easier. What are they? Understanding, credibility, and deliverability. I came up with this last year when I was giving a talk in Melbourne, Australia, and it struck me that if we have empathy for the beast, if we think about what Google needs, what Google's trying to do, it might make our lives easier, because what we're trying to do is help Google to help us. So its 3 fundamental problems are understanding what it is we're offering, evaluating the credibility of the solutions it has found, and evaluating the deliverability of those solutions. Let's start with understanding. Google needs to understand who you are and what your offer is in order to be able to present it to its user. Now, remember, when it's presenting your content to its users, it's recommending your content to its users. The one right at the top, whether it's you or your competitor, doesn't really matter, is the one that it thinks is the best solution. It's recommending, and people trust Google. How many of us now actually go through all the results trying to figure out which is the best one? And how many of us simply click on the most attractive element on the page? Be it a blue link, a video, Twitter boxes, knowledge panel. People also ask whatever it might be. So in order to be able to be on that page, you need to make sure that Google understands who you are and what you offer. And what you're doing in SEO is trying to explain to Google who you are and what you offer. And that goes through things like clear writing, clear copywriting, semantic triples, subject, verb, object. Really simple. Also schema markup, which explains explicitly to Google in a language it can understand what is in the page. So all of those things and a lot of other ones besides are serving understanding. Now, what about credibility? Once it's understood that your offer and your competitor's offer are equally good, how does it decide which one goes above the other? And that's where credibility comes in. You might want to call it EAT, expertise, authority, and trust, but credibility is a great word for it too. Right, what does Google use to evaluate EAT or credibility? It's going to use things like reviews, peer group approval. You can use schema markup to point it to all the things online that confirm that you are more credible, a more credible solution than the competition. Now, it's understood that you both offer the same thing, or more or less the same thing, and it's understood that you're more credible. But what happens if it doesn't believe you can deliver the solution to its user? You've lost the game. So you need to also think about deliverability. Now, deliverability can be on your site. That would be page speed. It would be mobile friendliness. But also think about the format, a video, written content, podcasts, images. All of those are potentially more deliverable than the content you have. You need to find the content that corresponds to the needs of the user in the circumstances they find themselves in. And that could be their preferences, it could be their device, it could be their geolocation, it could be their internet speed. All of those things come into play. And also remember that some of these results, some of these solutions are delivered on Google SERPs. That's on SERP SEO. That's big bag of fish that we don't really want to open up here. But sometimes Google will deliver your answer, your solution on its SERP, at which point it needs to be able to reach into your content, pull out the piece it needs, and put it in the SERP. So something like well-structured HTML5 will help with that. Using IDs in your divs, using schema markup, once again, which actually serves all 3 of these pillars really well. Schema markup, incredibly important. If Google can pick your content up and put it into the SERP, it probably will, at the expense of your competition, which is the aim of the game at the end of the day. So if we now turn it around, instead of being empathetic to Google, we've been empathetic to Google and we've been empathetic to Google just long enough, 5 minutes. Now let's think about ourselves, be empathetic to us. We need to communicate to Google who we are and what it is we're offering. On each and every piece of content, we need to communicate what the offer is, very clearly, very explicitly. Use schema markup, right-click copywriting, do transcripts for videos, brilliant. Next, we need to convince it that we have the best solution, the most credible solution, and that can be inbound links. It can be reviews. It can be user-generated content on the page. It can be comments on a video. It can be likes on a video. All of these things are going to push it towards the idea that this is a credible solution for its users. Number 3, we need to ask ourselves the question, are we making the content in the right format? Are we putting it into our pages in a manner that allows Google to correctly or easily bring it out and put it on the SERP? Or makes Google confident that it can send the user through to our site and that user will be well served? Or are we putting it on the platform where Google is going to look for this content, for example, videos on YouTube? So, if you look at your SEO activities, your SEO work now, everything you're doing must serve one or more of these 3 pillars: understanding, credibility, deliverability. If it doesn't, probably isn't worth doing. So that's how I tell my clients to look at their SEO work: understanding, credibility, deliverability. I'll repeat it again. Thank you very much. I'm Jason Barnard signing off. Have a lovely day, evening, night, morning, or lunch.